I'm Diane.
And I'm Steve from
Mom.
Pop.
Pow! We're most familiar with Michael Moore as a news commentator. So when we heard about him writing a book, we're very interested in it. So we were anxious to hear all that he had to say. So today we're telling you about Michael Moore and Here Comes Trouble.
The book consists of a variety of stories told at different points of his life in a rather random order. And the amazing thing about it is the amount of different stories that he has, the different problems or challenges that he found himself into. And it's just like his book says, here comes trouble. And he seemed to always find a way either to get into the middle of it or wherever.
There were two particular stories that I like. One was at the age of 13, he entered the seminary. He was going to be a priest. And at the end of the first year, he decided that maybe priesthood was not what he decided he wanted to do. So he went in to resign from the priesthood, but before he got a chance to give his resignation, he was told that he was no longer welcome into the seminary. And when he asked, well, why? What do you mean I'm no longer welcome? Mr. Moore, you ask too many questions. And that was his reason for not being welcome. The second story that I really liked was when he was 17. He was a senior in high school. And one day he was walking down the hall, and the vice principal came along and whacked him 3 times across the buttocks because his shirt was untucked. And Michael Moore took the punishment and went about becoming a member of the school board when he turned 18, and did everything legally and proceeded to have the vice principal and the principal removed from their jobs. So he's had an exciting life doing everything legally, or mostly legal, and correcting many wrongs.
Many of the stories that he related showed how he eventually got into movie making, and how initially he really didn't want to be into movie making. He didn't want to have his picture in a movie. And then all of a sudden we found out he's got something like 14 or 16 documentaries, and some of them have won Oscars or have been nominated for him. And it's just a very amazing career for his filmography, let alone his story writing and his involvement in all the different social protests, if you will, to try to right the wrongs of government and whatever he sees as an injustice. It's just totally awesome.
Well, just last week we saw him on the news, Occupy New York.
Right, he was commenting on that and giving his support to all the various different Occupy movements throughout the U.S. I mean, like him or not, I mean, he is definitely a man who talks the talk and does walk the walk.
We highly recommend Here Comes Trouble by Michael Moore. We think you'll really enjoy it as much as we did. We highly recommend Here Comes Trouble by Michael Moore. We think you'll really enjoy it as much as we did.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Diane from Mom.
Pop.
Pow!